Monday. What's going on? Did you have a great weekend? Sell a lot of houses? List even more? All righty. I love that. Hey, it's a bittersweet Monday. Did you hear what happened over the weekend? The United States' oldest living person, Hester Ford from Charlotte, North Carolina, finally decided she had had enough. So we say thank you, Hester, to a life well lived. She was born in 1904. 1904. She was 116 years old and decided, yeah, you know what? I've had about as much fun as I could possibly take. After 116 years, I'm tired. I'm all finished. So that leaves Thelma Sutcliffe now as the new oldest living American. She's only 115, so she's got a little work to do to catch up to Hester. Hey, fun fact before we move into our video. Do you know who the oldest living human is on the planet? It's a woman in Japan. Her name is, I think, Kane Takanori or something close to that. She's 118 years old and going strong. 118 years old and going strong. What do you notice about the three people I just mentioned? All women. Gentlemen, we have got to step up to the plate and figure out how to start living a little longer. All righty, so let's jump in today. Today's quick little smile for you. These are all real, by the way. So you always know when I start with they're all real. It's going to be something like, really? Are you kidding? These are all real. I will say that it's nothing terrible, but you may, if you have small children around, may want to escort them out or push the mute for the next minute and a half.
You know how people see things and then they get a piece of toast and they think they see Jesus and then they try to sell it for $10,000. People see stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I got this little clip. This is Sam Champion on Good Morning America the other day, right?
All right.
Take a look at this.
Yeah.
This is him. He's showing some graphics, right?
Because they can't handle it. Well, that's just about the only place where there is snow this season. Take a look at where last year we were, all the country surrounded in blue, and then this year, the places that just don't have snow. We're still looking for it.
So he's showing this thing here, right?
No.
I got a lot of guys in the weather office who are angry saying, what is he showing a pistol for in the middle of his weather graphic, right? Like, we get these complaints all the time. Like we did this graphic, but this graphic came out in our weather office here, if you could take that.
Yeah.
Weather graphic.
Okay.
Yeah, here it comes. So this one here, this was just rain that was, in the central plains and had some blow-off cloud cover from it. But, a lot of the people thought that it was a duck or something like that. But it's just an area of rainfall. I don't get it. And then we had this one, this big ice storm that was impacting the Midwest. And people say, boy, it looks like eyeballs.
Yeah.
Look at the eyeballs.
It does look like eyes.
They're like two big cartoon eyes.
Right.
So, anyways, as I always say, it's in the eye of the beholder.
Sure.
If you see something, more power to you. But, you can't argue with people on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Skilly, he makes those maps, and people say it's like they're on an acid trip. They're seeing stuff, and they don't know what it is. And frankly, I understand what he's talking about. All right, here's what's going on with the weather.
All righty. I don't know what I saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. All real weather maps. Okie dokie. Hey, Bill. Rescue us from the weather maps, please.
Yes, I have a fun fact for you, Rick.
Yes.
Scientists are certain that the first human to live to 150 years old has already been born.
Oh, baby. Is it me?
It might be. It could be. It's very possible. But, it kind of followed your theme, I thought, pretty well there.
I love that fun fact.
Yes. So I'm Bill McNamara. I'm with Westport Mortgage. We help realtors sell houses. We help buyers buy houses. And today I want to talk about choices because your buyers have choices and you are always going to be an integral source of consultation for the choice of a mortgage lender. So I want to talk about the different facets that go into a decision and where Westport Mortgage stands on that. When the process begins, I think the most important thing is accessibility. because you need to have somebody pre-qualified. If they're not pre-qualified, you could well be wasting your time, and nobody wants that. Okay. As most of you know, we answer the phone on weekends. We pre-qualify people on weekends, at night, after hours. We are there for you. So when you have that person who calls out of the blue, it's an unexpected lead and you want to work with them right away, but you don't want to waste your time, you give us a call and we're there for you. Okay. As the process goes further, accessibility changes a little bit in that you're going to work only with your loan officer or your one processor assigned to the loan, and you're going to be able to call them directly at any time and speak to them, as opposed to a big national call-in center type of thing where you hoping someone can pick up the file and make sense of it. Okay. I think you want people who are experienced, and you've come to the right place. I hate to say this, but Nancy, Paul, Karen, and myself, over 100 years in the mortgage business. Yes, it's sad to say, but it's true. So you really can't beat that. We have been around. We've seen everything we've learned over the years. In a call a couple months ago, I told you how excited I was because I just learned something the day before that I never knew that helped me do a deal. So, you can't have too much experience. And that also gives us a lot of knowledge. And so the first part of the knowledge is you have a borrower who maybe somebody else doesn't think of all the possible ways to structure a deal and says they can go to 350 on a purchase price. We might well be able to get them to a much higher number. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are basically considered to be the same program, but in reality, there are subtleties there that can change somebody's affordability number by 50,000 or 75,000. And we're always looking to do things like that. We know the ins and outs of it. Our lenders often say, this loan doesn't work. And we say, that's because you're running at Fannie instead of Freddie. And they say, oh, you're right. Okay. So you really want our knowledge on your side. Our processors are also very knowledgeable. And what they do is they push back with the lenders to try to make the experience as positive as possible, because the lenders ask for things that they're not entitled to and don't need. And so it's very common. Almost every day I see an email coming from Carissa, Terry, or Andrea back to the lender saying, no, they don't need that. And you're wrong, and take it away. And that happens, and it makes your borrower's experience much more pleasant. Okay. We have great flexibility. We work with the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac lenders. We have FHA, USDA, VA, but we also have specific jumbo lenders, and we have our non-QM lenders who allow us to do loans without verifying income, investment properties with looking at only cash flow. So basically, if a loan is out there, we're going to have access to it, and we're going to put your borrower together with it if it's the right program. Okay. So all of those things are important decision-making points along the way. But what your borrower often thinks is the only important thing is what rate are they going to get? Okay. We are right there with the best. In many cases, we're much better than the best. I had a KW friend of mine who is refinancing, and a national lender who they currently have their mortgage with gave them an offer 0.3% higher than what I can do for them, and wanted to charge them almost a half a point that we're not doing. So never think that any of the other factors we bring to the table mean you pay more, because you don't. We have great rates. We're competitive with anybody. And again, because we have more choices, sometimes we're better than the rest. So we've been your mortgage partners since 2007. We appreciate you, and we look forward to working with you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. We appreciate you. As always, enjoy the rest of your Monday. All right, guys, a couple of quick announcements for you. For those of you who did not attend risk reduction last Wednesday, which I know was some of you, we do have the second and final opportunity for you to grab that this week, Thursday from 6 to 8. If you weren't on our call last week, you do need to be on the call this week, right? And do tell your friends, right? So anybody who you know in the Market Center who missed last Wednesday, make sure that they are on this Thursday from 6 to 8. Yes, that is 6 to 8 p.m. We always do one in the evening and one during the day, so we capture everybody who we can possibly capture. So look forward to that. For those of you who were on last Wednesday, if you choose to be on again because it was so riveting, we certainly invite you back. Tech Tuesdays, as you know, have returned, and so that's every Tuesday. One small change I want to announce for you this morning. Instead of 11 and 1 moving forward, we will be working at 11 and 2. So a slight time change to the second tech class each Tuesday. That's 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Tomorrow we have, I think 11 o'clock is opportunities and commissions in command, and I believe that 2 o'clock is smart plans. I'll verify that for you and watch for emails on it. But that's tomorrow, 11 and 2. And then again, moving forward, that 2 o'clock will stay in place, not 1 o'clock. And then, of course, tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we have Ignite starting. That will go off Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 4 until 6. Except for this Thursday, we'll be at 4 till 5:30 so that we can prep for your risk reduction session from 6 until 8. That goes for 4 weeks, so 12 classes. If you haven't sold 10 houses in the last 10 months, I would encourage you to plug in to that Ignite session, and we will get you relaunched. And then lastly, remember that we do have our incentive program, excuse me, going on. You still have 2 days to refer business to the insurance partner and be entered into a cash pull for a crisp, cool $100, as well as push your listings to listing upload or your new pending scenarios to our document management system in our KW Concierge program. So you have 2 more days this week to be entered into the cash pulls for those. So do dive in and avail yourselves of those opportunities. Okay, so I told you last week that Money Monday was over, and clearly I'm a big old liar, because this morning I have kind of a bonus Money Monday for you. And I want to talk quickly around 3 separate things, and they're each of the 3 is actually quite quick. The first is the concept of leaving money in your business. Leaving money in your business. And so what do I mean by that? I mean, when you get paid a paycheck, and that paycheck is $8,000, the very first thing you need to do is, of course, set aside 30% or whatever your tax rate is for your taxes. So that's the very first thing you're going to do. But then the second thing you're going to do from that $8,000 paycheck is decide to leave a minimum of 10% in the company, right? So don't just pay yourself 100% of all of your closing money. Remember, you're business owners, and you need to make sure that you have funds to run your company, and not just run your company, but grow your company. I find very often people have a struggle with participating in certain things that they'd like to participate in. I'll give you an example. Last fall, when we did the whole pie giveaway, I had a ton of people come to me and say, that sounds like such a great idea. I wish I had the money to participate in the pie giveaway. Guys, if you take 10% out of each of your closing checks and leave it in your company, you then accumulate funds to be able to run your company and take advantage of opportunities that present themselves, like the pies, to be able to grow your company. You see how that works? If all you're doing is closing and pushing everything into your personal world, well, then you're leaving your company bankrupt. There's no money to run the company. So get into a habit of making a decision of keeping a certain percentage. If it's not 10%, make it 5%. If it's not a percentage, make it $250. It doesn't matter to me what you decide to leave in the company, as long as you start building the habit of leaving something. What if for the rest of 2021, you made one decision, and then by 2022, when you've proven to yourself that you can leave some money in your company to be able to run and grow the company, that you make an adjustment and save even more, right? I will tell you very specifically, and I think Debbie would agree with me when she hears this, there's really only one reason that we are standing here in front of you today, 17 and a half years later, and it's because we did exactly what I'm describing to you. we decided to pay ourselves a salary out of our company, out of our sales organization. And so we didn't distribute all the money that we were making. We just gave ourselves a salary, and we saved the rest of that money. We kept it accumulating in the business. And when the opportunity of Keller Williams came across our desks, we had the money sitting in our company to go and launch the organization that we all participate in today, right? And had we just pushed all the money into our personal accounts, we all know what happens when you push the money into your personal account, right? Poof, it vanishes, right? So get some good habits in place. If you don't already do that, start that today. And oh, by the way, if you don't have separate accounts for your business, that's the very next thing I'd like you to do. Go and open an account for your business this afternoon. Okay, number 2, I want to just quickly talk to you about sinking funds. Sinking funds. A sinking fund is when you get to look forward and say, you know, I'm going to need to spend X amount of money in January of 2022. Let's use, since I just said January of 2022, let's use board dues, right? Many of you struggle at that January moment in time where all of a sudden you have to come up with $700 for your board dues. Guys, it's not a surprise that board dues are due in January, right? Just like Christmas is in December every year, your birthday rolls around on the exact same day each year. It's not a surprise that board dues are due in January each year. And so if you know today in April that you have a $700 bill coming due in January of 2022, what if you decided to create a sinking fund around that? And what that means is every single month between now and then, you just set aside $100 so that in January, when you have that bill come due, you just write the check. I'll tell you, I learned this from Dave Ramsey, and the first time I used it, I own a condo here in Ridgefield, and we were doing a ton of work. It was some $10 million project or whatnot. And my portion of that was $18,000. And we had 2 years before we had to start paying what our portion was. So I just took $18,000 and divided it by 24 months, which is about $700 a month or so. And then from the rent that I received from that tenant in that unit, I just took $700 and opened a new bank account and pushed $700 a month into that bank account. Guess what? 2 years later, when the bill came due for $18,000, I didn't have to finance it. I didn't have to spend extra money paying with interest. And I didn't have to worry and freak out that I didn't have the money. I just moved the money from one account to the other and wrote the check. Right? So think about how you could utilize sinking funds. What about educational opportunities? I think I saw in the chat there, family reunion, right? Do you intend on attending family reunion next year? What does that cost? How are you going to save for it? I was having a conversation with someone over the weekend who was looking at the opportunity of perhaps in the next year or two purchasing a new car. Great, you need a car 12 or 24 months from now. How much money is that going to cost you? What can you start doing today to simply save for that, create a sinking fund, sink that money in there every single month or every single closing, so that when you're ready 2 years from now to go and buy that car, you just buy the car, right? And so what I find is that is one of those ways that you can eliminate money drama from your world, because you're not always running behind the things that you need or want to purchase. You're out ahead of them. Does that make sense? So, number 1, fund your business, like leave money in the business and pay yourselves what's left. Number 2, sinking funds. Consider working with those opportunities when you know something is going to be coming down the road. And the last thing I wanted to just mention to you is a bit of a reading list. I want to give you a couple of books that I have found really, really helpful in terms of getting my head and my excitement level around money and finances and activities around those things kind of in line. And the first one is a book called Wealth Can't Wait. Wealth Can't Wait. I could probably give you And that's written by David Osborne and Paul Morris. The second is a book called Profit First. Profit First is a book by Mike Michalowicz. Then there are two books by Robert Kiyosaki. If you've not read, you should read. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one, and The Cash Flow Quadrant is the other. Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright. That's a great one. Jeannie's got hers. And then, of course, the one we've been talking about a lot lately is The Psychology of Money, right, by Morgan Housel. So again, just a couple of quick ideas for you if you want to wrap your head around some financial stuff. Those are some good reads. And I'll leave you with this. Gary Keller does a podcast. His latest season is called, the podcast is called Think Like a CEO. The latest season is all about money. I think there are 6 episodes. There's 5 plus a bonus episode. Each one of them is between 30 and 50 minutes long and is spectacular to really have Gary and Jay walk through an explanation of moving from where you are today to where you want to be as it relates to your finances. Really excellent. Every single time I kept pushing play on the next episode, and my hand was going faster than I could keep up with the notes. Really great information. So become a student of money, work with sinking funds, keep your business funded by not dispersing all the funds to yourself personally, and most importantly, have a spectacular Monday. I love you guys. Have a great day. See you soon.